Hi, this is Robert Cooper of Kingman, Arizona, and I want to show you another video on my interface that I did. The other video, the previous one, I had actually made the images download files. Actually download the image file. So you click on the image, and that particular image file downloaded to the download directory. Okay. But I needed to download a certain text file that had a certain code in it. So in other words, I click sudo and I'll show you what it is. And there's the file. But when I open it up, that's all it has. That's the format I need. The star puts basically a space between this next command, and the next command would be apt-get update. And if I go here, there's program apt-get star update star. Okay, I got to play with that a little bit. I know it's going to work okay. My previous program that I wrote uses this format. So basically what I do is, now all I have to do is I'll download those two files. The system automatically sees that there's two files in there. I renamed the, I put an SZ in front of the apt-get command because that's after sudo. So everything that has SZ has to have a sudo in front of it. So if for some reason I don't click sudo and it sees SZ, it'll automatically put it in there. But there's going to be times that the person wants to run sudo from one of these other commands, and if I lock it down, where it's like, and the other thing too is the SZ command has to be run in a gnome-terminal, where a sudo in front of like gparted would run the application. So SZs, all the SZs commands will be terminal commands. And the only reason I use Z is because it's after SU. Right? Okay. Now that I've overly explained that probably, let me click delete these. All right. So what else I want to show you before I start doing the file click down is I'm going to run a YAD HTML browser dialog, and this, you can see this is the same right there, me2pc, same command as right here. Right, and I'm going to open that right now. Okay, so let's minimize this, and we'll use this box first. Right, now I can't show you the source here. The only thing I can do is reload it. But I've already, I know it's right, but I'm gonna reload it anyways for the heck of it. Normally, that's a web page. That's the same web page that this. It's actually, I'm sorry, that is a PHP file on the website. This is a PHP file running inside a YAD, and normally you cannot click on a download file because the system's set up that it has to say yes or even pick the location. But I wrote the code so that it works too. So I don't know if anyone else has done this, but the YAD program works, the website works. It'll be easy now to port it for VPN and SFTP. So there's the sudo command, and there's the update and upgrade. You can see it has it. I'm going to go gparted. Let's see if gparted has sudo in front of it. It doesn't. So that would have to be to run that command in the terminal. Let's do this. I don't want to close that anyways. Let's shut this down. In order to run that gparted command, sure, why not? In order to run the gparted command, I would have to do sudo gparted, and it's in order here, and the system knows that it takes sudo and put it in front of gparted at that point. but I don't have the system automatically now to import those, because what it will do is it'll import those and delete the files automatically. But I got that turned off. So I may change that so gparted has sudo in front of it. I can change the ME, this file here, I can put sudo in the proper format in front of the gparted, and the program will automatically run that program like it is. This just gives the opportunity for someone to decide whether or not they want to put sudo in front of it. Because if you open a program and say, like I opened, let me backtrack. I have the system set up right now that every time a sudo, every time actually a command is run, a new terminal is brought up. So when you close the terminal, of course, you lose the password, right? I've got it set up that every time a command runs, it opens a new terminal. Now, the ones that don't need a sudo password, they just go ahead and launch. Like if I ran, like if I do Firefox, right? Firefox automatically runs, and on Firefox, I've got it set up where it actually opens up my me2pc.com website. The star is only for a space. You can see it one there. That gets stripped out automatically within the program. Okay. So that would automatically get run without sudo. I'm just trying to provide the most flexibility on the front end, but actually when the terminal opens up, every time if it needs to have a password, the system bash is going to say, I need a sudo password. I think it's safest that way, and that can be modified. All this code is going to be open source and given out for free, and people are welcome to even make it better and modify. And I'll use your code if I'm sure it'll be better. I'm not a programmer. I'm a code crafter. I don't know hardly anything about programming, but if I can do this, every program in the world could do this too. And not only that, this can work on every program language, because you're doing the actual manipulation after the web, and that's where there's a disconnect, because you can't, I can't click here and download the data directly to the system, because it's a violation of the security protocols between zones on the internet to local setup. So doing it this way is an extra step or so, and it's secured. These files can be named anything. The program can be modified to match the files. Matter of fact, any file can be downloaded this way. So this is more just a my system. You can set this up as behind a paywall and have paid downloads. Particular folder that they get all the things for, say, $100 a year, and you just dump stuff in there, hide a directory protected password on cPanel, and then you get the password. They have it open. It's for a year. They pay your $100. Later on, if they don't pay, you turn it off or whatever you want to do. But so there's other options. This isn't just for my stuff. This program here and all the other programs I do can be used for different things. Okay, so I'm going to go through and show you all these buttons do work on the YAD program, and then we're going to go and do the ones behind it, which is the website on the internet. So there's sudo. And the image is going really big. I'll tone that down. I just want to show that they actually do it. There's update, there's upgrade. Now if you just click it super fast, sometimes it won't go down here. So you got to click it once and hold it. Click it, click it, click it, click it, and all of them went through. Now that's YAD, right? That's the YAD GUI program. So we'll exit that. This is the website. All right. Now you can see right here where it says file sudo me2pc. It doesn't show all the way, so I'm going to go ahead and reload that too, so you can see it's an actual website. Right here we go again. Sudo update, and you can see they're downloading. They're actually downloading the computer and showing up in the downloads part. Upgrade, gparted, Chromium, Brave, Firefox, and ELGG. Pretty cool. All I got to say about that. And to look at the code, let's do that real quick. Let's look at the code. This is the code for, let me move it over a little bit. This is the code. So it has HTML and CSS. It has two stylings. One styling applies the shrinking and expanding back on the active click. The other styling is for sets the display block, basically puts them in order, like in a table, but it's in a div, and then sets the margin at 15 around that surround. Then there's a table here. I've got the PHP. That's the PHP file. It has HTML in it too, for the decoration, I guess. Presentation is a better word. And then it actually has an array for text files, and it doesn't care what the extensions are on these, but the encoding that uses these need to be a text file. There's another way of doing this for zip files and binary files too, but for this setup, this would work on text files. It's fairly easy to change it to binary and zip files. And then it uses an array, and the array it finds the images in that folder right there. It replaces the ping here, because it's using the image file with the me2pc file. That's how they come up like that. And best way I know how to explain it. Let's see what we got going. Okay, here's the back end, I guess you could call it, secondary file, all PHP, that does the actual, takes the header information from the array for each file, and it sets the me2pc extension. It verifies right here, verifies that there's no characters going to cause the download issue. That also checks to make sure it's a secure transaction, the best I can explain it. And I don't know a lot of this code. I'm able to tweak it to make it work right. So that's the code. There you go. And yeah, have any comments or any suggestions? All up. I've already got the original code that where you clicked on the image and the image file downloaded. It didn't change the extension or anything like that. So this is exactly what I needed to finish my project, and it allows now. It will allow a person to actually, on a website, on the internet, on website, to actually run all the commands in their terminal from here locally. In other words, their computer has to be locally on their network, because basically when you load a web page, you're local at that point. When you're on your network and you're logged into your network, your router at home, you're on that network. This page here is just, buffered into you on your local system. I don't think all code is like that, but for how it works for the browser, that's the best way I can explain it. Is that when if I click here, I'm in my zone on the local network, so there's no violation, right? Now, the downloading part of it, clicking it, if I didn't have a secure connection here with a SSL certificate, you'd have to go in and tell, I think Firefox you can do, Brave you can do, but Chrome will let you do it. Chrome will sit there and every time it'll go, do you want to keep this file? Do you want to keep this file? Through all the files, right? And the thing is, this can have that. Well, the ad program. Let me show you one more thing. The ad program has a really neat option, a dialog. This dialog's an HTML dialog. They have a couple other dialogs. One's called Pained, and it has a top frame and a bottom frame. These windows can be sized like full screen or no top, lock people out, however you want to do it. But they have, and you can resize, but you can set the split, and the window size, the window position. This is centered. You can set it for the geometry to left, right, whatever. Then they have another one called Notebook, and the Notebook will allow you to put tabs across on the top. So maybe you can get like 6 or 7 across here, or you can put it left and right. The bottom is reserved for the buttons, but if you use the pane, you can bring that lower window of the two windows in the same dialog. You can bring it down and put HTML buttons in here to make it look like buttons that actually load into the top window, because it can be done that way. Or, well, you click on it to load websites. You can click on it to load text files. You can have it, the first page automatically. Or if you do the tabs, when you click on the tabs, it automatically launches pages on. It's super simple. Yeah, it is super simple compared to every other program language out there, and it's really they call it a dialogue, for launching, like doing commands on a computer, but it's a lot more than just that. It's huge as far as the options are concerned, and a lot of flexibility on those of the dialogues where you can put your own customization into it, just like this. And up to tonight, here it is, July 4th, 2025. I was never able to do downloads from the YAD program because the browser would always stop it. It would say it's waiting for me to in the background that I can't see within YAD, because this is a browser. This here is not just a window. This is a full-fledged WebKit browser. It's the same browser engine that's used on Google Chrome, Chromium, and Apple's Safari. This is powerful. I have just touched the potential of what this actually does, or what it can do. Okay. So again, you can when I do the tabs across the top, and I'm going to do that. Every page has different icons, right? Actually, images, right? And they can be local, stored on a local computer, or they can be. And this will run in a LAMP or an XAMPP system too. YAD won't run in a Windows system, but you can run the interface. What I call the interface, this me2pc interface, can be run in a Windows system. I still have to develop it. Anyone else wants to, I can give you pointers. I'm not a programmer, but I can tell you what I've done so far. I will eventually develop one for Windows where it uses batch files to do the back-end configuration in basic language, maybe, and just a simple XAMPP web server, or even a browser, just a different browser. I don't have to use YAD. What I like about YAD is because I can use the tabs on top, and each time I click a tab, different images show different commands, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to say enough, and it's been long. Happy 4th of July, and for you Americans and across the world, all the patriots, expats I should say. Okay, thank you. Leave comments down below, like and share. Let people know that this is a real system. It's just, this thing's rocking and rolling now. I've worked on this for 6 years as far as learning things. I was never able to get done what I needed to get done till now, and I'm done. This thing's rocking and rolling. I guarantee within 6 months this will be completely stable out production, and that's all I got to say.